What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F124 My Team Career Mode video. Today we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That's right, we're in Baku for this fantastic street circuit. I absolutely love this track, mainly because the corners are easy and, well, I say they're easy. There's one that can make you feel a bit stupid, if you know, you know, but we're here in Q1 and a little bit tentative around the first corner. I was running a time trial setup a day or so ago before recording this, and it was feeling good. And then I grabbed this other setup, and yeah, this is the first time of me trying it, so I was a little bit cautious into the braking zone because the time trial setup, as you can imagine, is very unstable. So I was a little bit cautious, really, not to trash the car in the first few corners. But I mean, the line's okay, a little bit of a lock up there. The turning, the responsiveness of the front end of the car there was actually insane. So I've got high hopes for this, but I'm sort of getting used to the brakes again. It's very weird. I didn't know how to describe this run, but yeah, it was sort of, I was braking too early and a bit too much as we actually made contact with the wall there with our front left tyre on the inside there. But yeah, it was almost like braking too much too early in some corners, and then other corners like that, I was just missing the apex, and that's just really not what we want at all, especially in qualifying. Like, we need to make these runs count. We can't just, I don't know, rely on our engine power to get us across the line first. But here we go. DRS is now open. Someone's peeling into the pit lane there, but it's a 140.0, which is only good enough for P7. And just after we crossed the line, you might have noticed yellow flags out for Oscar Piastri, who did what I was always scared of and locked up and smashed wheel first into the barrier, which is absolutely not what you want to do. The Alpine and the Aston Martin getting through cleanly, as well as Sergio Perez running over a little bit of debris, but we didn't make it out of Q1. I'll tell you that now. Lando Norris took pole, Sergio Perez just half a tenth behind the Ferrari there, lining up a second on the grid. You'll see where we end up, but we've got Carlos Sainz third, then Charles Leclerc, our teammate, in P4. What a performance. Verstappen, then Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso in P10, and then Ocon, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Albon. We're not quite to us yet. Logan Sargent, Dennis Hauger, Pierre Gasly, Piastri, ourselves in P19, then Pourchaire, Hulkenberg, and Joe. So I'm just out of reach of the wooden spoon fight, is what I'm going to say there.
Okay, it's going to be tough to finish in the top half today. There's no major expectation on you, so just give it everything. That's all we can ask.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mark. So kind of no pressure really for us today, but I'm going to go aggressive. And I mean aggressive in my sense of aggressive, which is, yeah, sticking on the harder compound first. So we line up for the grid in record time in one of these videos. All the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing here in Baku, and Piastri absolutely flies off the line. We were a little bit lazy getting up the gears there, but so far so clean, and just slipping around the outside of Dennis Hauger there in the Alpine onto turn 2. Everyone's 2x2x2 around turn 2. And we've really got to just look for the traction here as we wheel spin our way out of that corner, and we're just dumping the battery trying to get past Hauger here. Just make him back out if anything we can do, and not quite. He just back out of it, and we slide our tyres around the outside of Gasly, maybe down the inside of this corner as we lock both fronts, which was only mildly terrifying at the time, but we managed to get it stopped somehow and not hit Sargent in any way. We're trying to look for any place we can get around some of these slower cars on the grid, because we really have to make up positions. And now Gasly's looking very dangerous, and that almost caused us to crash into Sargent, but we actually slip it up the inside and successfully take the position there. We don't want to be stupid around that corner. We all know what happens when you are, but yeah, pretty good start from P19 to P15. Got a lot of work still to do and only 17 and a bit more laps to do what we want to do. Now, the only issue is that we're going to find, as well as there's a lockup up front from the Haas car of Kevin Magnussen. Somehow we managed to squeeze and find a gap in between Alex Albon and Magnussen while he was kind of rejoining the racing line. Again, only a mild heart attack was had in the cockpit of my car, but Albon's not looking slow. He's obviously using his ERS as we've been saving it to use at the end of the straight here when he is starting to harvest. Daniel Ricciardo also going defensive in turn 1 against the Williams of Albon. Now we've got a bit of a run around the outside of Albon. He is on the soft tyre, but we've got the much more flowing run and some DRS to help us under traction along with our big battery pack. And that is absolutely what we managed to work well there. It's just our engine power, and to be honest, straight line traction I think is strong points. We set the fastest lap there and go around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo and put ourselves into P12 and ahead, crucially, of a couple of soft runners, but they're not really in the same league as us in terms of the car and its development. So yeah, we're going to take that with a pinch of salt. If there's anybody up front that is on the softer compound tyres, we're going to struggle to kind of catch them. Maybe we'll see that in a little while, as there is a gap starting to form behind our teammate and ahead of the second Ferrari there, as you can see in the minimap in the bottom left. But now we're just chasing after another Alpine and another Aston Martin as we actually bump the wall. Kind of similar to what we did in qualifying, just in a slightly different spot on the track, but we're right up the rear end of Esteban Ocon, which, again, things to put in the list of close calls in commentary. But let's see what we've got here in terms of straight line speed. We are in hot lap mode with the ERS, and we are going to use a bit of overtake to secure the move. We're almost out of ERS as the Alpine's looking to come back at us into turn 1, but there's just nothing doing there. We're going to slam the door on exit and get ourselves after Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda, who are up next in our crosshairs. Now, yeah, I felt like I had a good pace once I got up to speed and started risking it a bit more. Sometimes you've got to just be brave when you're behind the wheel. No doubt about it. When you're in these cars and you're flying down the straight at, 210 miles an hour plus, you've got to know when to put your foot on the brake, when to lift it off. Otherwise, you might as well be driving, well, a go-kart around Legoland. But that's it. Tsunoda and Stroll going side by side. That's not really helping our race, but we'll let them have it for now. We can save some battery behind them and just focus on getting the traction out of this corner here and potentially go for a cheeky double overtake as we dispatch Tsunoda fairly quickly under traction. And with our battery, we've got less than, 10% battery now. Stroll is going extremely defensive. Way more space was given than was needed, but that turns to the inside for us for this corner here, and it is job done. So all of that unraveled purely because they were side by side in turn 1. That's the only reason why that happened. But now we've got to get after Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, two very quick drivers up ahead on the same compound of tyre in cars that are pretty competitive around here. And if you want to make sure you're not missing any videos, make sure you hit that subscribe. Dirty self-plug. But we move, and yeah, now we've got to try and ditch Stroll a little bit if we can get him out of DRS, which he's on the fringes of at the moment, as we jump the curb a bit too much, and that's potentially going to let him back in. Yes, he's just inside of it now, but the DRS isn't until after the next couple of corners, until the very final straight. So we'll see if we can get him out here. We do have hot lap on. I am wary that I've got potentially slightly higher wings than the AI, and it looks like Stroll is going to get the DRS on us, but the question is it enough? I don't think he's got enough speed or length of track to get us. But moving on to lap 12, we weren't able to catch Alonso and Hamilton as we throw it into the pit lane, but we have gone much longer than everybody else, and it seems like the AI was opting for a medium hard strategy, which is very different from what we're going for. They're going medium hard, we're going medium soft, and yeah, they're putting the slower tyre on at the end. We put the slower tyre on at the beginning. So now we're actually going to come out side by side pretty much with the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, who was fairly down the road when we last saw him. As I said before the pit stop, we didn't catch him, but there's yellow flags out. Who's having issues? There is a safety car as there's Max Verstappen in his transparent Red Bull, which must be a new upgrade that they brought for this race. And the safety car's deployed, and that's perfect timing for us, I have to say, purely because brand new soft tyres. Everybody else is on a few lap old hards, maybe softs, like in Alonso's case. And the safety car is going to be in this lap, but we're going to have a massive tyre advantage until the end of the race, which is only going to be in 3 laps time once this race gets restarted. We are in an absolutely amazing position. It's insane. I don't know how I lucked out that hard. Verstappen must have just locked his brakes and gone straight into the corner and then had to kind of reverse out, because the runoff areas here are very, very thin. But we're about to go underway again in this Grand Prix, and we are right up behind Lewis Hamilton. We absolutely nail the launch as well. Reacted extremely well to his Mercedes, and we're going to pass him into turn 1 under brakes, and also Fernando Alonso. Can we call that a double overtake? I think we can. It's 1 braking zone, 2 cars, job done. Carlos Sainz up next. Remember, Ferrari is a big rival of ours right now with the constructors, and we've just got to make the most of every overtake. Our teammate is still up here, by the way. I think he's P3 currently. Yes, he is. He's just ahead of Russell, who is just ahead of Sainz as we send it down the inside of the Ferrari, and under traction, it is a deal done, and very easily as well, I might add. We do have a massive, massive tyre advantage. And you can tell, like, it's insane. Even under brakes, we can just slide right up, even potentially get a move done into this corner. Is this a good idea? It could have been stupid, but again, I think the soft saved us there. And now we can get after our teammate and hopefully get some of the DRS from him down the start-finish straight and onto the start of lap 17. But we've got to make sure we make these moves as we again take a massive leap of faith over the curb of what I would call the penultimate corner. I would say this is the final corner, because this isn't really a corner. You don't lift, you don't change gear, you just straight through, hold your breath and hope you, well, are alive at the other side of it to tell the tale, really. But 33% battery, we're not really going to be able to charge too much, especially when we're in hot lap, but we can get past these guys. I want to get Charles Leclerc in a nice easy place. I don't want him to lose time and potentially get a position to George Russell, but let's see if he has other ideas. Remember, we're still kind of both fighting for a championship here. Leclerc will want the drivers, I want the drivers. I'm the team boss, but that might not matter considering the new game is coming out in just a few weeks' time, and we've still got a few episodes left to do. But we got past Leclerc. He looks like he has plenty of space to Russell, so we should be fine. Purple sector 1 for us. This is lap 17 of 18. We've got Perez just ahead, and then the final boss of Lando Norris. Both of them on the hards. Again, they both will have been on them for probably about 7 laps now. I've been on mine for a few laps, but all of them were behind the safety car. So I have no worries at all about my softs, and pretty much no worries at all about the hards ever being faster than the softs at this point. There is an issue with Perez's car, apparently. Mark was just saying over the radio, I'm not sure if you could hear it, but it says Perez is slowing. He has an issue with his car. Doesn't seem, I mean, maybe it's an old radio message. It doesn't seem like he's particularly slow, but at the same time, as you can see, I'm trying to save a bit of battery for the final lap, which is going to start in just a few moments now. but we're pressing the overtake. We're trying to get as close to Perez as we can. Maybe we can get him into turn 1 on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Fastest lap for us, a 1:39.981. We squeeze Perez on the apex just ever so slightly. That might help our teammate Charles Leclerc in getting on the podium. But now we've just got Lando Norris, the final boss, just ahead of us. We've got 30% battery. Lando Norris has the lead. We've also got the DRS. Don't think there's anything he can do in the Ferraris. We almost brake way too early, but we get the move done just about. Norris was thinking about a move around the outside, but he does back out of it. Although he is right there with us. He's actually all over the back of us now as we're trying to hold him up a little bit. Give Charles Leclerc a chance at getting an extra position or two, because Leclerc hasn't gone past Perez just yet. Perez is still half a second behind us, a few tenths behind Norris, and just a little bit ahead of our teammate. So we're going to try and do our best here, but I also want to secure the win. I don't want to give Norris and Perez the DRS on the final pit straight and have them fly by me to the finish line. That is not what we want here. We want Leclerc to do well, but we can't give up our entire point package and our entire race win for our teammate. We're still beating out Ferrari on points in the constructors. We're still beating out everybody else on points in the drivers. So we have to just go. Leclerc is 3 tenths behind Perez. It looks like we're going to be in the clear, but there's only half a second between ourselves and Norris. He is gaining down the main straight. We've got 0 battery left. Now the DRS gets open for the Ferrari, but it's not quite enough for Lando Norris. And Leclerc got on the podium.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
That was hard fought as well towards the end. I was really trying to help out Leclerc as much as I could, but in the end I think he got third.
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant victory here today.
Yeah, 19th to 1st.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they were able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Yeah, it was efficient, it was merciless.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
And yes, we can confirm Leclerc did get P3. He joins us on the podium, beating out Sergio Perez for the final step. And a nice little trophy as well to add to our cabinet of the Budo Andretti F1 team. But yeah, a decent race. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy qualifying. I had a huge issue in qualifying. Don't really know what it was. First lap jitters.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
And yeah, that's it. So obviously we take the top spot from P19 on the grid with the fastest lap of a 1:39.981. Lando Norris claims second place in the race. Charles Leclerc gets on the podium from P4 on the grid. And then we've got Perez, Sainz, Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Ocon, Albon, Gasly, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Piastri, Magnussen, Sargent, Stroll, Verstappen, Pourchaire, Hulkenberg, Zhou Guanyu, and Dennis Hauger, who DNF, but I'm not sure when. I really don't remember. But in the standings, we have a nice cushion to second place, which is our teammate Charles Leclerc. 62 points to be exact. But in the constructors, we've got some work to do to beat Ferrari. Now, we've got 4 races left. Let's say we want to win by 1 point. We need to beat Ferrari by 6 points on average every single race until the end of the season. If we don't do that, no constructors for us, but maybe a drivers. So, yeah, we've got to try and do that as best we can. But the highlights are here for you now. Yeah, crazy race, terrible qualifying. I have to say, normally, I feel like my qualifying's pretty on point. I can normally get through Q1, Q2 on the same set of tyres, and then just smash out Q3 with some new sets, but yeah, I just don't know what happened. My braking, everything was off. And then suddenly I managed to turn it around for the race. So, can't complain. And I definitely can't complain about all of the support I've been getting recently. I can't thank you guys enough. You know, the likes, the comments, the subscribes, all of it. You're the reason I keep coming back. Like, I'm really looking forward to being able to kind of start F1 25 with you guys and just see what the new game can bring in terms of like excitement. I don't know if I'm going to have to change the format of the videos in some way to kind of be a bit more inclusive in terms of the more behind the scenes team management stuff. But I also want to focus on racing, so maybe we go drive a career. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the new game, and I really want to get this series done. And all the support has just been incredible. So that's it. Huge thanks for that. And yeah, you know the drill. We've got a couple of weeks of double uploads, so I will catch you all in a few days with the next race. But I'll leave you all with the highlights. And yeah, just let me know in the comments. F1 25. Do we continue my team? Do we continue building on this legacy that we're building? Do we make our own brand new team? Do we stray away from Andretti Cadillac? What do we do? It's our team at the end of the day. So yeah, let me know in the comments. But until then, I will see you for the next video, which is going to be round 13. Only 4 races left in the season. Let's go.